Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
So I'm happy to speak to Jeannie's comment about the minutes. So we had somebody that was watching your videos watching from the videos and taking minutes, but they are not able to do that. So we don't have anybody that is able to do it from the meeting videos right at the moment, which is why I think I had gone back and watched one or two of the videos. Were you taking some minutes or?
Yeah, I had taken at least 1 month that I was here. The last 2 meetings I wasn't here.
Okay.
But I didn't know that there wasn't anybody. Okay, just logistically, it's good. Because I wasn't here and I wanted to go back and see what decisions were made.
Yeah, so just one meeting, the official meeting.
Okay.
Where Jeannie wasn't present to take notes.
Can I make one suggestion because of them being recorded, that we introduce ourselves? So
Oh,
they
yes.
hear our voice. They know who's speaking, maybe.
Christine Suter, Chair.
Jerry Hamill, member.
Mark Furlong, member.
Julie Gilman, representatives, select board representative.
And Jeannie Wright, vice chair / clerk, apparently.
And Melissa Roy, interim town manager.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess my thing about the whole minutes is I don't need long minutes. I just like precise minutes. To me, I think they're very important because and like the first meeting we have, we still haven't got those minutes done. But if you look at the meetings of our first meeting, no one was here except for Chris was on phone. So I mean, those are the things that really bother me. I like to have, and we were all here, so I like to have documented who was here. And even if the thing isn't long, it can be short, but as long as it's precise of,
Well, so you didn't see the set of minutes that I drafted?
On the first meeting?
No, this was the last meeting that we were here when everybody
No,
agreed I would take it.
no.
And that's the thing,
We didn't get them.
but you did because you asked for them, I sent them, and I
Oh,
saw.
we didn't get those?
We did.
Because there was something we didn't
I
get.
didn't
That's
get
not
them.
what I remember.
Well, I think what we need to be better at is well, there's no packet that goes up, it's okay, but
Right.
nobody's sending them out, but they are typically available when they're available. If you go to the boards, committees, and agendas part of the website, the minutes are there.
Oh,
So,
okay. That makes sense.
If you want, I'm happy to when I send, because now we had a little like, oh crap, you need those earlier. Like, I didn't realize that they get posted right after the meeting.
As a draft.
In my world, in my world, they get posted after they get approved. So I was like, oh, so.
The minutes that are there are March, April, and May.
And if you
June
look,
was canceled, so we're just
Yeah.
missing July.
right,
In January.
and January's never got approved.
Right, so I have copies, I have January, February, March, April, May, you said June was
June was
canceled.
canceled.
The one question that I don't have or answer is whether these were approved.
January.
One set, I think that the February minutes we were able to approve, if you look at one set of the minutes. January, we did not because there were too many errors, omissions in there. There were some people that were missing, so I think it's just they're falling through the loop because we're not ready to approve because we don't have them, and so,
Yeah, the June meeting minutes were approved.
no. We weren't here in June. There was no quorum. Mark and I showed up and there was nobody here.
All right, then. We approved some minutes in July.
No, I watched the meeting today and you guys waived the minutes because you didn't have them, and those are the ones from May that I drafted. There you
Leave
go.
me out of it.
I drafted them in May.
So I don't remember.
They went out, they would have normally been approved in June, but we didn't have a meeting, and then people just didn't, I think it was just too much time passed, so.
Yeah, 60, we have a policy in town that if minutes aren't approved within 60 days, then they're considered approved.
Okay.
Well, sweet.
Okay.
Would it be helpful if I take all of the meeting minutes that I have available and put them in as attachments and send them out to everybody just so they can review them? Would that
Yes.
be helpful?
That would be
Why don't we
amazing.
do that?
Yeah.
It will probably come from Pam McElroy.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll ask her to send all of the meeting minutes that we have. We'll try to look back in the videos, confirm what has been approved, what hasn't, so that you guys have anything that you need for the next meeting and know what has been approved and what hasn't. Would that be good?
It would be good.
All right, so we will take care of that. Pam and I will get that for you guys ASAP.
And what I would like on that, if you all would look at the format of the meeting minutes that I drafted for May and let me know if that satisfies what you're thinking, because they're much more, yes.
They look like they have, just so when you get
Right.
them, they have like a grid on the top
So
of them.
that'll show you who's been here, who's not here. I just thought that was a little bit better.
And the things that we need to, you don't have to do the minutes verbatim, but as Jerry said, the important things need to be documented. The most important things are the roll call, the attendees.
Yep.
And any motions that we make.
Motions, who seconded, and what the vote was, yep. And that's what those meetings minutes are.
Right.
It's a slight overview of what we discussed and what the outcome was.
We did approve some of the meeting minutes that you had sent in, which were, I thought they were fine. They were good. The format was fine. So I think we're good on that.
Okay. But I will continue to do that.
So the ones I know we haven't done was the last 2 months plus January.
Last 2 months
Those
was
are-
January, okay.
Oh, there wasn't June.
So it would
Right,
be
so
just
just
July
July.
and January.
July, okay.
I am gonna have Pam go back and just do a quick double check and make sure that she sees the vote and everything was good to go, and then we'll put it all in an email for you. But I will tell her to pay I will ask her, not tell her. I'll ask her to pay particular attention to January and July.
And so if nobody was drafting July minutes, how are those gonna get done?
So what will probably happen, I know that Pam and I had spoke about this 2 days ago, I wanna say. She was going to review the video and try to create some minutes for you folks.
cool.
Until we could figure out what was sort of happening.
Yeah, I should sit with her and do that.
That would be
because I was-
lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure she would very much appreciate. In full disclosure, she's very quick when I ask her for help, so she might have already done it and I just don't know yet, but if she has, I'll pass it along to you, so I don't know. But I'm sure she would love any help, because when you're not sitting in the meeting, sometimes it is tricky to understand what folks are trying to get at it and stuff like that. All right.
While we're on sort of housekeeping items, can I raise a question?
Sure.
I had a question about who are the voting members of the committee?
All of you except for all of us. I am too.
I don't believe that I am not. I mean, that
Correct.
I am correct. Yeah.
Because I had the impression that you weren't voting,
I
and
don't
that
know.
Russ was, so I just wanted to
Let
make
me-
sure that we're all
No, it
clear.
was
No,
neither of
yeah.
us.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
looking
not
at it right now.
staff. Staff doesn't vote, that I know.
It says on the website that
5 residents.
she's the voting member of the committee.
But it also
as the
says that
select
that's a
board member.
draft, so
Oh,
Oh, was
and
the
my name is
charge
spelled wrong.
never
That's what it was.
approved?
that was the follow-up question.
My name always gets spelled wrong.
Well, what's posted is that it's 5 members, including me.
Yep.
As its select
Yeah.
board representative, and we are all voting members. So-
Well, I know, I looked at
That's right here. Oh, yeah, you already got that.
one meeting, and I made a motion, so I was confused.
Yeah, I didn't know Julie voted either, but
but.
I'm learning so much this evening.
Yeah,
Oh,
Whatever
if that's in the minutes, and that, I don't recall that ever happening. I've never seen, I would've, sorry, but you know me, I would've probably said, no, you don't vote.
He might recommend a motion, but
Right.
he shouldn't have made a motion. So
I think he was telling me how to make
That's
motions or
the
not
way-
make motions,
right.
because I wasn't supposed
That's the
to.
way the minutes read, so maybe.
I think it's a minutes error. Well, the minutes also had Janet down as a member of the committee.
Yeah, she's not.
To Mark's point, though, I do, if I may, it does say right on the website, Julie, I don't know if you're looking at it, it does say this charge is a draft and subject to final approval of the select board. So what I would love to do,
Pass the ball to you,
I
dear.
would love to follow up on your question and find out if that happened and this line just never got taken off. So let me do a little bit of
That would
research
be helpful.
and we'll
Wait, can we
figure that out
rewrite
for
it
you.
now? I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
What am I
I'm
gonna
like,
do?
oh man, that's right on there. So let me do a little research on
Thank
that.
you for pointing that out.
Yeah, that's a very good catch.
Can you have her correct my first name too? It's spelled with 1 N and 2 E's.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
It happens all the time. It's an auto typing thing.
So it's, I just want to confirm, Jeaneee.
N.
Okay, we'll fix that for you, sorry about that.
I'm only because you're going in. I normally don't hear.
Well, I would hope that you would tell us anyway, because it's super easy for us to fix, and I would rather everybody be correct than
I'm sure Pam gets this stuff all the time.
Easy peasy, that's an easy one.
Well, the good news is they got it right here. So,
Oh, yeah. All right, any other housekeeping stuff before we kind of dive?
I have one more thing. Just because we're on the subject of housekeeping, is there a way to that we can all confirm attendance when I'm saying there was a night that I know that I put a lot aside to get here, and I know Mark and I showed up to find out that we weren't going to have a quorum.
Yeah.
I know that there's not supposed to be a whole lot of email communication, but
Yeah, for like the land use boards, it usually goes to their assigned staff help. So in this case, I'd have to ask Pam.
Yep, so I was just about to, I'm not gonna just be offering Pam left, right, and center today.
I know.
She's very helpful. So typically it's either the chair will send out an email that says, please either confirm to the chair, so Christine, if you'd like that, or I can the week before have Pam. It's not typical that Pam does it, but if that is something that would be helpful.
No, just people can just confirm to me, because that's why, I was late in canceling when I couldn't make it the last time. Just a bunch of stuff started happening and I couldn't make it, and I reached out to Pam, but she wasn't able to let everybody know in time. Again, that's on me. And but yeah, that's why last month I was like, okay, can you just want to make sure, because it's summer and summer's tough. I was like,
Yeah.
if you can't come, please let me know. So no, going forward, the week before, but again, it's like we only meet once a month and we're kind of new, so.
so what if on Monday, I think what I hear her saying is that if you send out an email just saying, can we confirm that we're all available to meet this Wednesday at 6:30 on Monday, and then we can all reply.
Yeah.
Giving you.
As long as you're not discussing business or making decisions, you can respond whether you can make a meeting.
That's what I thought,
Acceptable
yeah.
for 90
Yeah,
minutes.
I've been digging in a little to that right to know law, because it was way over my head for a little bit.
As long as it's like, please don't talk about this because I want to be there, as long as it's, I'll be there or I can't attend.
Yeah.
That's
Logistics is like, the logistical things are fine.
Actually, the thing that's really bizarre, you cannot go into one of those meetings years ago. One of the things I did find out, you cannot, for example, if you had some information that you wanted to give to all of us, and so you wanted to say to Janet, could you send this to everyone? You can't do that, because you can't use a person as a conduit to give you the information. It's just like they're still getting the information.
No, we've done that.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there.
I went back and forth with a guy from the state. We talked about, he said, and I said, but how are we going to get the information?
Two things. One is, let's say we call for an action, like, would you put together some numbers for us?
Right.
And we will discuss it at the next meeting. We have given an action to a person, voted on it, whatever. That person does the action. The action is to distribute it. The other thing is,
Makes sense.
if we ask the staff person to distribute it to everyone, that's fine, as long as we don't talk about it to each other. And Jerry, let me finish. And we talk about it at the next meeting.
Right,
It's like
and I can agree to most of that, because he was told, I was told by him, you put that into before the minute, you send that out as in your
Packet.
in your packet. But he said, once you give it, if you want this information shared before then, you're acting as a conduit and you're having someone else do it. So he says, it's the same thing as you doing yourself. And I'm saying, I went back and forth with him on that, and it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Because he says, and his reaction was,
One of those things.
if you get the information.
Yes, three different people at the state, the same question. You get three
Exactly,
different
and that's
answers.
the problem here with the state sometimes. Some of the information you get.
When
He
did
said,
you have that conversation?
oh, this was right here at the town hall. Remember, we had the big ethics? This
Yeah.
is probably 10 years ago.
The state messes with that law every year. In my committee,
Yeah.
every year it's something else, so I know it pretty well.
Yeah. So
I think
I'm
we're
good
clear.
with you, Kate.
I mean, if it is, I'm fine.
We can certainly look at it. It would be something that I'm not used to. To Julie's point, there are a few ways to do it appropriately, like you said, whether that's the packet or you guys have voted on something called to action. My understanding was that you could disseminate it. as long as, like Julie said, you speak, it's on the agenda and nobody responds, there's no communication about it.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened, and I could be wrong, but we will double check that for you.
Yeah, and I was told I couldn't send it out to the committee, I had to send it to either Pam or
staff.
Pam or Russ.
Yeah.
And then they would disseminate it. I asked Russ online, 'cause I
So
was.
when in doubt, send it to Pam.
Exactly, and that's when I heard that, said, that doesn't make sense. We're still getting it sent to us. What's the difference with Jeannie sending or Russ sending? We're getting the same information. And that's when I had to go about it, that didn't make sense. He said, well, you can't because it's a conduit. If you use it as a conduit, you're all getting fed that information that you should be getting, or the public should get at the same time. So if it's in a packet form, it's already out there.
So think about intent, this is my take on it.
Yes.
Intent is I'm sending it to staff to put as part of the packet to discuss at a meeting. If I send it to the group, the intent may look like I'm intending to inform you all during an email. I think that's my understanding. I mean, I've been looking at it, it's a lot.
Just
It's always
as an
been a gray
example,
area.
all of the land use boards and the Board of Selectmen are sent packets from our staff.
Yeah.
But the difference is that they're posted, so maybe that's what.
Yeah, we'll double check. That's, it's not hard for us to confirm and just double check.
We're not always this difficult, Melissa.
No,
You know what?
we're really
It
not.
doesn't bother me. You guys are all
Yeah,
lovely
I was gonna say,
asking
10 till
great
7 people.
questions. So it doesn't bother me at all.
We just like to do things, try to
Yeah.
do things right.
I think that's
all.
great. I'd rather have a board ask questions and do it right than go completely off the rails. So I'll take this any day of the week.
Can I ask one more question? Because we're talking about it. What is the flexibility that we have? Because I know we decided on 6:30 to accommodate Molly. Would 6 o'clock, could we move this meeting to 6 o'clock?
Or does it interfere with the trustees meeting that's usually before us?
Oh,
No,
maybe.
it would be okay as long as so one thing I will say, if I may answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I always like to double check Bob Guwacki keeps a master calendar of
Okay.
all of the meetings. So just confirming that there's nothing at another time. We can typically run 2 meetings at once, so as long as there's not another meeting, that's okay. And it would be up to you folks and the chair to vote to change that. But what I can do is get the master schedule, see if 6 o'clock is an option, and then you guys, if you wanted to put it on your agenda for discussion next time, you guys can discuss that.
My question is, what's the earliest you guys would like to meet? 'Cause for me, earlier is better. But again, I know some of you guys.
4 o'clock?
No.
5:30. 5:30.
It's on the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking more Julie, because I know she'd come, I think sometimes you come from the state house, right?
Yeah, but it's not, depends on the speaker, but not typically
And I don't know, Mark, and I don't know your schedule. I don't
Whatever
know.
your schedule is, I'll accommodate it. I don't care what time it is.
I
Morning,
could
night.
probably do 6, doing earlier might be difficult.
Okay, that's, okay.
6 would be the earliest for you.
Is 6 good for, is 6
Unless we
okay
don't-
for you? Because we don't have to change it to 6:30, I was just throwing it out there. Things get a little fuzzy for me after 8 o'clock.
Oh, me too. Well, I'm sure as we go forward and we get all of our kinks worked out, we'll dive in faster. So, so what Julie's looking at that, we, very quickly, so we wrapped up, we did veterans credits last time, and so we're now gonna be looking at, I believe from my memo, was disabled, blind, deaf, and possibly talking about solar, depending on what time it is and how quickly we get through everything.
If you don't mind, we did have a resident join the public comment part of the select board over the last 2 weeks, and then we also received an email that all referenced the veterans credit. All veterans credit. So if it's okay with you, I'll just pass this out
Oh,
so you
sure.
guys can stay informed.
No, that's
You take
great,
one and
thank
pass it
you.
around. So we had a gentleman, Keith Whitehouse is a resident here in town, and he's come to the last 2 select board meetings asking that this board reconsider their decision or your decision, and I apologize, I'm not completely up on to what has been voted and what hasn't, excuse me, but he really would like the all veterans credit to be considered. Julie has some paperwork that Keith gave to the select board that night. So this is, I just wanted to pass this along because I wasn't sure if anybody knew. He has asked the select board to take it up, after you guys look at it. So just to as a request from you guys, from those residents, so.
I think this is good because I wasn't here last meeting and I also watched and I also had like some thoughts. That's the hardest part about not making a meeting, and I apologize. I was really in the throes of a project at work.
As a point of order, I think if we're gonna discuss this, we should have a motion.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to reconsider our recommendation on the all veterans credit.
I'll second that motion.
I need to take a minute to read this.
And I'm not asking you guys to reconsider today. If you guys want to do it another day, I just wanted you to all have the information, that's all.
So this email is from one resident and another gentleman came and had.
Correct, and
Okay.
spoke at public comment.
Okay. Well, somebody wants to summarize the public comment, that'd be great.
Julie, do you want to do it, or do you want to?
Well, yeah, fill in for me if I miss something.
Sure.
The gentleman asked for the select board to consider putting the all veterans tax credit in place, which requires a vote of the legislative body or all the voters in town. This committee had voted at our last meeting not to recommend that.
Right.
So that was my answer.
Okay.
And then the response came.
All right.
Pretty much.
And that you would bring the concern to
Yes.
us. Yeah.
Yes, that you bring it here. I think he did mention,
Oh, so this is the same person?
No, this
It's
is a
not.
different person.
Okay.
I believe they're married. I'm not sure if that's relevant, but it is two different residents.
But one's a veteran, one isn't?
I
I
don't know that.
apologize. I do know that Keith is a veteran. I do not know if his wife is, so I apologize.
Okay.
So they're looking for you to consider it. One thing that I would add to Julie is he'd really prefer to go through this committee or this committee and the select board rather than putting on a citizen's petition. And we do try to, I don't want to say recommend that, but it is a better process when they go through the resident board and they go through the select board rather than just put it on a citizen's petition. It is there for our citizens at all times. You know, people, Jerry had a very successful one last year, which was great. But they would like you guys to consider. It does not need to be today, but I wanted to pass, it was our responsibility to pass this on to you guys from the board meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to vote on it, reconsidering it. If you guys want to think on it a
Or we
little
should at
bit.
least vote on the motion
Yeah, we have a motion on the table. so-
Oh, we didn't vote yet. Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
reconsider.
Actually, it's technically by Robert's Rules of Order, it's to rescind the action taken at the previous meeting.
Oh,
Well,
If we do want to rescind it.
why can't we just have a discussion?
I was gonna say, I think you can motion to have a conversation for reconsideration before that next motion is made.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what the
You need to
motion,
say second before discussion.
I did second. Right? Yeah, I'm seconded for discussion, not, I think, just to have a general discussion about this, of whether, I mean, maybe we don't talk about it today, but I will say, I will add, this is perfect. And I think watching the meeting from the outside, I would agree with a lot of this. And I think that was the hard thing for me, is I thought it warranted more discussion. And I think granted, I couldn't be here and I don't expect things to wait until people come to vote, but I think I had a lot of, I know that Mark, your comments were about looking at other towns, and I had done that too, and I thought it was really interesting that Exeter didn't have the all-tax for veterans, and I thought, I know I'm hearing Russ's voice in our heads thinking about this thing, but I thought, I was very surprised to hear that Exeter was one of the holdouts in Rockingham County to not have this all veterans, and
Out of 3.
they're out of 3, and I thought, I will say, this is just my thoughts on the matter, is that it takes a lot for somebody to step up and serve this country. That's how I feel. And I think regardless of how we feel about other things available to people, I think it takes a lot for somebody to take, even if it's just temporary. It doesn't really matter how long somebody served. I think it's an admirable thing. As a daughter of a Vietnam veteran, I will say that I was really shocked to see that we didn't have more conversation about that. And that my concern was that these other items that we are considering for the ballot, I think it might turn people off to say we're recommending one and not the other, because I think there's things that are going to be out there about House Bill 99. I think people are going to be saying there's an option. I think we should consider where we can have Exeter wrap our arms around how do we support the veterans that are here.
All right, so we didn't even vote on discussing it, so.
Oh, sorry. I thought we opened it for discussion by motion and second, so.
All those in favor of having discussion, say aye.
Aye.
We can retract it.
All right, so I'll just say that I kind of disagree with a lot of what you said. I think maybe some things are misinterpreted, because absolutely I don't think anybody in this room meant any disrespect to anybody who's served in the military. If you disagree with me, let me know, but I don't think anybody was had any intention of being disrespectful. And secondly, you know, we actually do a lot for veterans in this town. It's just one thing that we haven't signed on for. And if you look at Stratford County, there's like 7 communities that don't offer the all veterans tax credit. So we are not like an extreme minority in the state. We have a lot of tax credits and assistance that we offer for our veterans, and I think that was discussed at length, and also generous, and we also voted, to continue that. So it was simply just being some opinions, but I'd like to say that I believe that we do some really good support for our veterans here in Exeter. So
I actually have to agree with that.
I'm gonna hold on to that.
Yeah, I do agree with that, and I think there's a lot of people that do a lot of good for veterans. And my father was, World War II. My uncles were. I hold the veterans in high regard, but holding in high regard doesn't mean you keep giving more and more and more and more. I would like to see the veterans, for example, that I know a lot of veterans that abuse the system. I know a lot of veterans that basically have been on disability for years when they're not injured. I know veterans that double dip out of the system. And I'm not saying that everyone does it, but there are those that do it. And there's a lot that
we're not talking about people that abuse the system.
Right,
So I don't want to.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at.
Bring more people to the next meeting.
I just want to get to that point where we're giving everyone something, but not so much that everyone else in the town that's not a veteran is just paying all the taxes all the time.
We do offer 3 different tax credits for veterans. So I want that to be noted as well.
I will note that they all have to do with disability
Or combat veterans.
combat veteran or support services for during an armed conflict.
What about the standard optional veterans tax credit, $500?
And that's also, you have to be in time of conflict
Right.
So
anymore.
the standard veterans credit is $50.
I have it down as
That's the statute.
500.
That's
No,
the statute, that's the
the-
bottom of the
That
statute.
enables us to create a higher amount, which is
Up to 7,
500.
oh,
500.
But it only applies to veterans who served in named conflicts.
right.
And there was some other language to that.
Yeah, the other language is that it's because it started we wanted to stop listing every single combat name, you know. So there's the last line is for any veteran that served and got an expeditionary medal, and I forget the other medal, but they have to show in some fashion that they were in a conflict yet to be named, basically. So we don't have something that serves all veterans. It's just people who have served in combat.
Right. And I think the question that Mr. Whitehouse raised at the select board meeting is, why are we one of the only towns that doesn't have it? And I don't have an answer to that question.
You can ask some of the, I know some of the selectmen from some of these other towns, and I can ask what I think it probably was generated like this discussion is from a member of the public who wanted to see this and came to their select board and said, please, put this through.
I have another question is, if we did, I'm not saying you have to, and by the way, I didn't mean to imply by anybody that your intent was bad, but looking up, just so you know, looking on the outside, it's like sometimes you pick things up like you weren't here, and you see things a little differently. And what I would say, is there any harm for us in moving forward and putting it to the voters to see what the voters want to do? Like, isn't that what, we're not making the recommendation that this has to happen and that's said and done for because
Well, we
it
make
has
the
to
recommendation to the
We
select
make the
board.
recommendation and it goes out to voters.
No, it goes to the select
No, it
board.
doesn't.
No,
it
the
doesn't.
select
It
board
goes to
could
the select
easily
board.
say, we want to do it in all veterans tax credit.
Oh, okay, but if we put it out there, and then the next step from the select board is, same thing, I'm saying, we're gonna make all recommendations to the select board. And if that, they could override us as well, they could come back and say, you're right, we're gonna put that out there, but I'm saying, like, is there any harm for us in saying, maybe we should see if the people who live in Exeter want to adopt a all veterans credit? Because I think there's a lot of us, I hear you, and trust me, I know I have a brother that's a fully service disconnected veteran and he gets a ton of benefits. It always impresses me, I'm like, wow, this is crazy what he gets. It's great, I think it's a good thing. But I think this is what I said to you earlier, what Mark said to me was telling, which is, wow, it's interesting that in this county, we could look beyond in Stratford, but I just thought it was interesting to see that we don't offer it. Why not consider it? I'm just saying, like, it's something that I think, I definitely, and I don't think that we're not veteran friendly, we are, but is there any harm for us in trying, other than the financial aspect, which I don't know if that's really the tell all and be all to all of this, I don't know.
I guess my opinion on that there is, we're an advisory committee. What we say doesn't, they'll either say yes or they'll say no. Everything that we do is because of the research that we do, like on the elderly exemptions, everyone could disagree. And we're not taking in the public to weigh in with the public to say, well, what do you think? I think it's what we really feel it should be, and if the town feels the same way, they'll go with it. If not, I'm sure it'll be on the ballot to see if it's
Right.
If it could change. And then again, Keith can 25 people. He can put it on the ballot, and he can just do that. And that's what I'm looking at. I think there's a minutia sometimes that you get into things that you're involving too many people and too many ideas, and you just spin your wheels. And I believe that, our job is to come up with what we feel is correct. And if it isn't correct, it'll be changed by the select body or by someone in the town. And that's just my feeling. And looking at every other town, I've never been an advocate of looking at everybody in town, every town and doing what they do. Because this is Exeter, it's a different town.
Except when there's an outlier. That's the reason I like to look at data, is looking for outliers.
The data,
And we're an outlier.
It's good to get the data.
We can't justify that.
Right. But I mean, and Keith, obviously, he was a veteran, he's got the right, and I just feel that, he shouldn't be appalled by what we said, because I don't think we said nothing with disrespect. Now, from what the letter I read, there was no disrespect whatsoever. We just feel that there's a lot of things that the veterans do get. I'm a contractor. Veterans get a better cut at all the supply houses than I do, and this is my living. If anyone should get I should get a good cut too. And does it bother me? No, not at all. Because I think that all these people are doing their little thing. So the sum of a lot of little things make the whole thing, to me, pretty advantageous for a veteran. So, I just, if we want to go for reconsideration, that'd be fine, It's whatever the committee decides on, but I just don't think we're...
Yeah, tonight we're just having a discussion, we can think on it, and then the next meeting, if we want to bring it back to a revote, then we can talk about that, just let everybody, if anybody has an opinion they want to
When are we
share.
likely to be bringing our recrecommendations to the select board?
It should be very soon.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we're, I think, so in order to, I'm just trying to think of,
They're gonna be pretty busy with
October at the
budget for the
latest.
next number of meetings.
yeah, I was thinking if we could get through, I'm sort of doing the calendar in my head. Excuse me, we are presenting the draft budget on September 29th. And then it starts the BRC process, so probably somewhere in the beginning, or October, the beginning of November would be a good time that we don't miss the opportunity to have it on the warrant, if you agree with that, Julie. Another thing I would say is, as you guys are having this discussion, if there's any information or documentation that you would like us to pull together as your staff support for your next meeting in the spirit of putting a packet together, if you have any questions that you would like answered or documentation for if your discussion on the veterans credit, just let me know and we'll put that in a packet for you guys. Christine can tell me or you guys can tell me what you'd like. Okay.
I think the question that always comes up is that if this were to be granted, how would that have
Cost.
Yeah, what would it cost us? Because, it's...
So I will.
I analyzed that data.
Oh, you did.
I love you, Mark.
And, for the towns that have it, there are not, surprisingly, there are not a lot of exemptions being granted. The optional veterans credit is far greater in every town that I looked at, in Rockingham County and statewide. Well, I can get a better summary of that probably for the next meeting if that would be helpful.
And if you want to send that to us in advance, I can put all of it together and send it out as a packet, as we talked about. Let me know and we can do that.
Yeah, what I definitely want to know is Exeter.
So I'm going to do the best that I can. What I was going to say is I think that I want to say the very first year I was here in the role that I'm currently in, so about 3 years ago, I want to say that we had a discussion about this. And there was a cost estimate, but we couldn't do it officially because there was no way to know officially how many veterans were in Exeter. So I think we had sort of a guesstimate, but I will go back and see if I can find that and see if we can update it, but we won't have exactly what it would cost.
I'd be happy with a guesstimate, just to have some number.
Absolutely.
And
Let's
just
see what we can find for you.
To get this on the record for anybody that is listening, estimated tax credits, 2024 for what we do give out to veterans is over 300,000. So there is support, so. And again, I want more
The question is
information.
about the disparity of who qualifies.
Yeah.
I think that's really the issue that was raised
Right,
by
so,
the
And that's why it was created as a separate RSA, yeah.
legislature should have just taken care of it.
so more information would be good.
I'll work with Janet, I'll work with town clerk, and we'll put a few things together to the best of our ability. We'll put it in some sort of packet form, send it to you guys before your meeting, and if you have anything you want me to add, just so you can review it before the next meeting if you guys choose to take it up again. Does that work for everybody?
And I definitely want to say, and I'm sure I speak for everybody, that no disrespect was meant to any veteran.
No, none whatsoever.
And I don't think
And
that
apologies
was
to
really the
anyone.
tenor of the discussion, so.
Yeah, no, we're not here to be disrespectful, just try to look at numbers and make some recommendations, so. All right, let's move forward, because as we said, we are in a crunch, and so we gotta really just push and move quickly. So, next on our list, sorry, I have way too much papers. So we are up to, which one are we?
Disabled?
Disabled exemption. Okay.
We already discussed this at one meeting. Briefly.
Disabled? I don't think so.
I thought we talked about it right after we finished and wrapped up elderly. I could be wrong.
Sorry, I'm looking. I don't believe we voted on anything.
I think we just made a comment that to leave it where it was at. I don't think that's what I was talking about, but I could be mistaken.
I'm trying to figure out where. Yeah, so just kind of go through them. Yeah, I don't recall, so if we.
We talked about the current exemption's $125,000. It's, is it 3 or 5 years?
Oh, there it is.
5 years. 5 years they have to live here, and I think this was the one I think we talked about not putting too many changes to exemption amounts on the recommendation list
Yeah.
for exemptions. I thought we had just all agreed to it, leave it where it was at, but I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, it is, yeah,
From
when.
the 2024 MS1, there were 26 people that got that exemption, so.
Okay, well, it's up for discussion. Personally, I don't have any recommendations for making any changes to it. Does anybody have thoughts, to go up, go down?
I make a
Okay,
motion
same.
that we keep it where it's at.
I second that.
Those in favor?
We're gonna discuss first.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, so motion second, and now it's on the
Oh,
floor
yeah,
for
that's right.
discussion.
Thought we were discussing.
The motion on the floor was to keep
To hold it where it's at.
where it is, and then,
Second by
seconded.
Jerry.
Correct.
For discussion.
Yep, excuse me, sorry to slow you down, sorry.
Now I'm like, too fast.
Other than this most recent feedback to the select board, has there been any other feedback in recent memory about any exemptions or credits? Or I don't think any came to us through Russ at all.
So, any exemption, so I think, I don't wanna speak for us, but, in our discussions, the original, thought for this committee had started right around the time we went through the revaluation.
Yeah.
Can you talk to you guys about that?
Yeah, that was the big push to get this going.
Yeah, that was the
Not so
big
much
push.
these.
So I don't know that I would say people have come to the select board in droves for a particular exemption. It was just as the assessments
Right.
became,
Yeah.
just-
Rebound, but
yeah.
reaction.
Yeah.
So it was time to review.
Yeah.
Except for the information I just gave you about the veterans.
Yeah, so we kind of got an order of, I don't want to say importance, but emphasis for why this committee was put together. So we did spend a lot of time on that.
Which a lot was in fact the elderly exemptions, I think, were the hardest
Yeah.
hit, right, Julie? So that's why.
Yeah, so. Other questions? Anyone have thoughts on any changes or questions about the exemption?
I haven't heard anything from anybody that doesn't think that it's reasonable for the town to give them the 125, so. On that basis, it's one of the reasons why I'm just saying I'm fine with the way it is.
Can you just remind me which RSA?
Oh, not off the top of my head.
So
It
I
may-
can give it to you. It's RSA 72:37B.
The other thing I'll say real quick while she's looking is the disabled doesn't disqualify them from applying for the elderly as well.
Right.
So the elderly disabled can get that higher amount when they're out of working age.
Okay. Thank you. So we had discussion. You guys ready to vote?
I am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, so we're voting to recommend to keep the same. All right, look at that. Speedy. Not that we want to rush anything, but. Okay, blind exemption.
Wasn't this one we only had like 3?
6.
6.
Wow.
Did you find out?
Now we have it's a total of the highest value is 15,000.
well, actually, it's not conditional, it's 15,000.
Exempt each year for property. What do we give?
15,000.
15.
We could, that's the.
So that's it. So there's no real changes we can make here.
No.
No. Look at that. There's no changes to make because we give what we can give.
Oh, really?
That's what the RSA says.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah,
Moving
we're
along.
not- We're not a city, so that's why it's.
Oh, that's why, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, how come all these others are higher? Okay. So nothing to discuss. B
Well, that would
and deaf exemption. I guess since I have it.
Probably
it's all gonna
similar.
Be pretty quick.
Wait a minute, let me go back
I
to
don't have
that.
any. We don't have any, so.
What?
Just kidding.
You idiot.
We don't have any.
Did you hear that?
Oh wait, you're not my husband. wait, I was talking to my husband.
Yeah, we have not adopted it.
Oh, we don't.
Well, we just don't have any.
We don't have
We don't
any-
give any money. We haven't adopted it. We don't give any money and we don't have any people. So
Oh, well,
is
Well,
it-
it's not, I don't think it should be based on whether we have any people. I think it should be based on whether or not we think it should be adopted.
we don't have a deaf exemption.
No.
We have a blind but not a deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Most,
seeing
it's
it.
very few. I only see 1 or 2 communities. Again, doesn't Newcastle and Wyndham, not that, I don't know why.
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, I want to go back to the blind one when we're
Okay.
done with this discussion.
So it has not been adopted. And I wouldn't know, honestly, I apologize, but I don't know what the amount would be if we did. I forgot that.
So the RSA says every inhabitant who is legally blind as determined by the Blind Services Program Bureau Vocational Rehabilitation Department of Education shall be exempt each year on the assessed value for property tax purposes of his or her residential real estate to the value of 15,000.
Yeah, what about deaf?
This is, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry, I
want to
thought you
finish
were.
the deaf one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you moved to blind, or,
No.
excuse me, sorry, hold on one second.
You can't hear me, you're
We're all
not
blind
listening to me.
Apparently I'm deaf and blind, I'm so sorry.
It's not.
That's my husband.
Yeah.
And you know
Sorry
it.
about that.
But the deaf exemption.
I think some of these
I think
exemptions.
it's similar, right?
Yeah.
It's, yeah,
Or just
okay.
standard.
We just don't have it.
No,
We
that's
don't
why
have
I wanted to go back to the blind one.
Yeah.
But, so this could be one we could consider recommending.
I got both
Well,
of them
I-
actually.
I think that right now.
We already have the blind.
Yeah, that's why I want to go back to it because
Okay,
I just
okay.
spoke on.
All right, let's hear from Julie.
No, I just closed the window.
I'll go back to the deaf one. I was looking for that.
The, it's 15,000 on the value of the property. But it goes on to say that is, city or town may decide on a value, used in this section, let's see, to address significant increase in property values.
Oh. Well, that changes everything.
So, yeah, it does. And I'm sorry I left out. I
So it was
spent
probably
my
adopted
essence.
at some point in the distant past and never been adjusted
Yeah.
In some town,
as values have gone.
and this hasn't changed, this law hasn't changed since 2003.
Oh, okay.
So there have been significant changes
Right.
since then.
So you have the freedom to go up whatever amount you want?
Right.
See, my personal thing, when I look at a lot of these exemptions,
Oh, now it makes.
there's not a lot that we can do on a lot of them this year. It's not like they're all gonna go on the ballot. So I think there are certain ones that we focus on that we'd like to get on the ballot. The other ones, if we don't change them, it'd be nice to be able to hear from, get other information from people wanting them, or, is there a need for them? I don't think we should start.
Well, are they gonna all go on individually on the ballot, or are they gonna go in?
They would have to go individually.
This isn't a
Individually,
Janet,
yeah.
this is like, I wonder if Janet hears from people that might be deaf that are wondering if we have the exemption. On the deaf, on the blind thing, I do see here now that other towns, like literally Brentwood gives $125,000 exemption for the blind. And we have 6 people, but I'm erring on the side of caution too, saying these may be things that we, like if we I think that we're gonna look at elderly, we're gonna look at a couple things on the veterans, and I don't know what else we're gonna look at on this cycle.
Yeah.
Maybe we wait until that's done, and then we move on next year to say where, we've heard from Janet, right? She said that the elderly were the big, like, we gotta look
Yeah,
at
that's,
Right.
And I think maybe if we look at the deaf and the blind, maybe we say, yeah, there may be some room, but let's see where, we all talked about this being a really interesting year, both budget-wise and tax rate, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we've gotta kind of like see where things flush out. Maybe that's what we do, is we say, okay, after January 1st, this is where we pick up.
Right, and I don't think a lot of it's my thing, it's not gonna be on the ballot anyways, so do we
what
spend
do you
a
mean it's
lot?
not gonna be
What
on
do
the
you mean?
ballot anymore?
No, some of these things won't be on the ballot, but I'd like a blind, deaf, all these here,
Only for not recommending changes.
yeah, but the big thing is like, even when we talked to Ross, he says, you should pick a couple, and that's it. He says, if you put too many on it, you're gonna have no everything.
Right, I mean, we're
And
still
that's-
gonna discuss that.
But we're
but-
saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing.
All right.
I think this
But
is
I think
something.
we can wait and not really
Okay, so then,
bring up the amounts right now, because I don't think it's.
all right, so let's table, how about this for a thought? We table, maybe we have discussion, but we table any voting on anything outside of the property tax, elderly disabled, and the veterans.
So we're gonna postpone, because table means bring up later in the meeting. So you mean postpone? Is that what you're saying?
Postpone
Yeah.
any voting.
Yeah, you got it.
We can have any voting until after we send our proposal
Yeah.
for for this year for the selectmen, and then everything else, would be for consideration for voting that we would want to go on to next year's budget.
Yeah,
How's that sound?
that's a pretty good idea because we want to see, you made recommendations for the elderly exemptions. Now we're considering we've changed the veterans credit. Now we're reconsidering the all veterans tax credit, and that's 3 chunks, 3.
Yep.
And each of those is a separate warrant.
Yep. For some reason, I had it in my head that we had to go through everything before,
No,
But it would be on the ballot if we did make a recommendation. You're
No.
saying no, yes, it would still have to go out to the voters.
Yes.
yeah, but they would still pick, the selectmen would pick which, they're not gonna, just because of a recommendation that, okay, we'll put them all on the ballot.
You're
Oh.
advising us to take these up.
Yeah, exactly.
And the select board may say, no, just this one this year.
You're not gonna let them say no, right? Okay, I make a motion that we take Christine's recommendation to postpone
Recommendations.
the recommendation. I make a motion that we take the recommendation to postpone blind and deaf exemptions until the new fiscal year, or the new January 1st, after January 1st, after this cycle.
I second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Are you ready to, everybody's ready to vote? Yeah.
Did we have a second?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jerry
Second,
seconded.
any discussion?
Aye.
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 Okay, perfect.
Can we just kind of assume, since we voted, that all the exemptions that we're going to be discussing will be for after solar and all the other stuff?
I would like to talk about solar a little deeper than that.
Me too.
Thank you.
No, I
No, she
mean,
meant for consideration in the next.
any
Oh,
voting.
I don't know about,
2027.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I want
That's why I wanted
to,
to talk about
maybe,
the solar.
but yeah, I want to talk about solar.
But not for this year's budget recommendations. Because we only have tonight and one other meeting.
Right.
Right.
And I think is this the last one we need to
And
discuss?
I'm not even sure if I'm in town. I think I am, but I may be getting back late the night before, so I don't know if I'll be able to
For
make a
the
meeting.
September meeting?
Yeah,
For this September, I don't remember what the date is.
depends on the date.
I think it's late. I think it's.
So it's the 17th.
Yeah, it's a little bit later in the month.
Yeah, that's the day after I get back from being out of town for 10 days, so.
Hopefully somewhere.
Not a good night, yeah.
Bryson.
Bryson Zion, baby.
Where?
Bryson Zion.
Wow, beautiful.
That looks like the right date.
I think the solar conversation is timely though, and whether or not we make any recommendations will be left to be determined, but it's 7:30 now, and I think if we discuss it for a little bit, and if there's any research we need to do, we can bring it back. And maybe the big part of next month's agenda, Chris, can be formalizing these recommendations, like going back and making a clear list of what it is that we,
Yeah,
and putting our why behind the what. I think that's gonna be the other thing.
I think we definitely need to get the numbers from Janet
Yeah.
of how much, we've given large exemptions for solar installations,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you how this came about.
Yeah, history would be great.
Very early in my time as a select board member, I promoted putting the solar exemption on and to adopt the solar exemption. What I didn't know, because I was new to the select board and I was not a state rep, that is putting a dollar figure to that. So that's why it's kind of wide open and interpreted to be the value of the installation. And that's why the numbers are so high.
What are the numbers? Do you even know?
Yes,
Some of them are like
It's basically
10,000.
I'm just a question
It's
on
just a
that.
pass-through,
Is that
right?
every year they still get that exemption?
It's unlimited.
Oh, that's what
Isn't
I
it
thought.
unlimited? Isn't, we talked about
I
this.
never want to hear unlimited with taxes.
I know.
Yeah, we have $2,557,000 in exemption for solar in Exeter.
There is a form, and I don't know what it says. So this is something we need to get from Janet, along with the amount that we've exempted over the last year. We didn't start collecting it until in the last 2 years.
Is it this one? This is, I was looking at this earlier, the solar packet that's online. See if that's the one.
I didn't see it on AMS, the 2023 MS1. I just saw it on the 24, so.
It is, it's not, it's really, it was hard to determine exactly what it is that we're giving and why, other than it's like $500 a panel. I think that's what
That could be.
but I know,
But
didn't Janet also say that there was like, it was approved and it didn't have limitations on,
That's
there was a whole bunch of things that kind of got a little out of hand, but.
that's what I did. That was my star first move. Gotta have solar exemptions. I don't know what they are. So
You know, if
sorry,
you-
I apologize.
2 years would have been nice.
I apologize for my lack of knowledge at the time. Where is she?
And I forgive you.
Thank you. I assume.
I'm a very forgiving, I
Well,
forgiving
I
mood. I would, it was really hard to source out in the town exactly what our program is for solar, because there's an application and then there's a frequently asked question piece of it, and then there's a packet, but it didn't really have much to go on. It might be something we do need to get more information from Janet for next meeting.
I have it in
Oh.
my notes for you.
Oh,
2014.
big.
Yeah, that was there, and but it doesn't say what. It just says it was adopted Julie's first year.
No, it wasn't my first year. That's even more embarrassing. So I think it was the first year it was offered by the state.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I would just love to take a look at it, because I know there's a lot of effort right now in the state of New Hampshire to bring community solar to low-income communities. And I really would like,
Thank you for reminding me to talk to you about that
okay,
again.
really, it's a really good benefit that actually offsets electric bills for like people living in the mobile home parks. And I say that term lightly, but I think it's not saying that like where we're at is the right effort, but I think it really is important, because that's a really good benefit for people. But if they have to look at the taxation, it could counter effect it and require a rent increase. And the solar for all money, which right now is being pulled, but being fought at every level. But there was a lot of money, and the challenge is that people that have a lot of money can install solar very easy, but a lot of people on lower incomes can't benefit from it. And this would be a way for people to benefit for it, and really actually save a lot of our seniors like energy bills. So I think that there's a lot. I don't know how our exemption is written, but I would love to look at it just to make sure that it wouldn't disqualify. If any of them decide to put a solar array in to offset their own energy costs, there wouldn't, if we could exempt that from taxation, it would really be a benefit to them.
So what I'll do, if it's okay with everybody, we'll have Janet pull together some information. I actually think it would be great if Janet can join us. But let me see if we can get some information to have further discussion on this.
Yeah, we definitely need more info
Yep.
for that. And again, we're gonna look at getting more info for about the veterans. Again, just a round number, nothing.
Mark, you were gonna pull some numbers together on the veterans too from just, because we don't have anything to compare it to here because we don't have anything. But you were going to look at what other towns are spending on that. Okay.
This is just one page of many from DRA. And I think I had. This is what's allowed, but there's actually a granted report.
Yeah, I think
And
Christine has a
that's
copy
the
of
one that I
Yeah.
analyzed.
Yeah.
I don't remember the.
And I also always like looking at other communities as well for a bunch of reasons, but then at the same time, I always like to make sure I remind people Exeter's so different. So it's good to see what other communities are doing, but it should never be a determinant in what we do because we are so different. But it's good, it's definitely
facts.
But again, it's always good, for anyone, I just want to make sure that I'm clear about that. It's always good to see what other communities are doing, but it never should be a determinant on our decision-making, in my opinion.
I agree with
And I
that.
think most of you guys agree with me too, but I think this is good for people to know that that's what I'm saying, but I think you guys are saying as well, is that we're not just going, well, they do it, so we should do it. That Durham does it, we should. Well, Durham's very different than we are. Stratham's very different than we are. So, but it's good to see what other communities do and just help give us a picture, paint a picture, and then we put it into context of Exeter, which has some areas of high wealth and very large areas of lower income that people just aren't aware of. And it kind of drives me nuts that people aren't aware of that. So I'd like to always point that out, that we have a large number of residents that are not of high net worth. So that's an important consideration because it really does, it makes it difficult for everybody, I think.
It's a balancing act.
Everybody has a challenge, right? And we're definitely out of balance. Like we're not compared to a lot of communities, but so be it. It's what we have, it's what we work with, but it's always good to have that as a consideration. So going, just want to make sure everybody's clear on what we are looking for as far as information for the next meeting.
I would think.
Melissa, did we give you good marching orders?
Yeah, so I can read back what I have so far on my notes. Let me just scan this here. So I'm gonna start by putting a packet together that is going to include all of the months of the many minutes that we have, and we're gonna do research on what has been approved, what hasn't been approved, focusing on, we think that July and January weren't actually approved. So we're gonna put that together. We're gonna do some research and just confirm the voting members, and if our charge in fact was approved by the select board, we're going to change Jeannie's name to be spelled on the website. So we're going to, let's say Christine is going to email folks the week before to confirm that they're in attendance. We're going to do some research on 91A about sending out the packet before. Let's see, I'm going to reach out to EXTV to get their master schedule to see if there's the opportunity to move this meeting to 6 o'clock or earlier, if that works on their schedule. We're going to get some cost estimates and information on the all veterans credit if we were to put that in place here in Exeter. And let's see what else. We're going to ask Janet if she's received any other requests for blind or deaf, even though we're going to look at that after the first of the year. And we're going to put together, ask Janet to put together information on the solar exemptions and potentially have her join us to explain them. Was there anything missing from that list?
Nice list.
Let me ask,
Well, I think with us, my big thing is I'm looking, we're closing in on the deadline too. So if we could actually discuss what we're gonna put in some type of formal letter to the select board for recommendations. Because if we don't get it next month, we may miss the boat.
Well, that's why we already talked about just doing elderly and veterans.
Yeah, those are
this
like
year.
a must include. And then we'll see where we get with solar, depending on what happens at the next meeting. If we get the information enough to, make some informed decisions, then possibly make a recommendation about that. But we know we have our top two. Again, we're just, and if, like I said, we have, those are, I think, our top two that was asked of us. I think solar's really important too, and I would love to be able to. I just don't want to make a promise if we have to have everything decided by the end of next month.
I just want to make sure with the solar that we're not missing anything that could be very critical. And it might be just a wording tweak. It might not even be a financial thing. It might just be looking at it and putting a limitation. I don't know. And whether or not we get there, I don't know. But I think what I hear Jerry saying is, do we want to have a letter ready to review next meeting to go out? So you're thinking, and I don't know who does that, who drafts, and I'm looking at you and I don't mean to.
I'll draft up something.
I was gonna say, that would be.
This
Yeah.
committee needs to draft.
I
it.
was gonna say, like, I'm gonna draft the minutes here and have them over the next few days. And if you wanna, that's a challenge is, I feel like we all need to have input on what's on that draft, but if you wanna draft something high level to bring in, maybe then we could tweak it.
Well, that's what I think we gotta do. We just
I agree,
get something and we tweak it from there with something that
And
everyone.
it's really just a matter of
going back, yeah.
taking what we voted on in the minutes and summarizing them.
I think probably a little bit more than that.
We talked a little bit about presenting something that was kind of like, how did we come up with this recommendation? Like, how did we get here?
But wouldn't that be part of our attending the Board of Selectmen meeting?
Possibly.
Yeah, I would say less is more in a letter, is what we're proposing, and then we're there to answer
Explain it,
questions and explain,
Explain our process.
Yeah, I definitely in a letter, it's really, this is what we are proposing for changes, and then that's why you attend the meeting to they'll ask questions.
Okay, I'll put something together that we can tweak out, take apart or do whatever, and then at least we'll have something we can, I kind of have it in my mind anyways.
Great.
Why?
We have the whys are good.
Yeah,
And
think
I would say it wouldn't hurt for us to look at it, because even when we do get there, I think we should all stand together that this is the decision that the committee came up with. We don't want to go with different messages. But I also, I've seen committee presentations that I have like a presentation, we're not going to go there, just
I'm not.
Here we go. I can say it, I'm more than happy to. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not sticking
Oh, I was gonna say, right,
No.
pull it down.
No.
And then we'll get there, we're like, where's Paula?
Better name than Paula?
Yes, you can.
We'll go to the meeting.
I really like Julie.
Oh, Paula had the presentation, but I guess she couldn't make it.
Julie, I really like Julie better than Paula, but it's taken. So the agenda next month will be to review that letter, to take a brief look, come back to this, any solar information given, and then the all veterans information, and then that letter.
Okay.
Would you guys be willing to meet on the following Wednesday? Or if not that third Thursday? Because like I said, I'm coming back from a long trip, and
I can do whatever,
It's not-
whatever you want to do.
it's,
do.
It's
So-
Wednesday, yeah.
The third, did you say the third Wednesday?
So either
24th.
the 24th, or if that doesn't work for you guys, at least the 18th instead of 17th.
So we
Fourth
have,
has the facilities committee at 5:30.
yep, we could go up and have the meeting in the Novak room if you'd like, but it does need to end by 7 o'clock because Recreation Advisory Board has their meeting.
Oh, and it might be a longer meeting.
You guys had talked about starting at 6, but doesn't sound like maybe that wouldn't be finished in an hour.
And I thought we needed to make that decision once we got the information for the next meeting, right?
Unless you guys are talking, I mean, I can see what meetings there are.
We can stick to
So-
6:30 just for the time being.
I can
That
do
makes
the-
it easy.
Well, you're saying the 24th, that's the 24th is limited to an hour. She's saying, for me, it's better to move out a week than it is to move to Thursday night. I have a closing
Yeah.
happening that week, and I have a standing meeting on Thursdays.
And I believe Thursday nights are,
HDC, in that week.
yeah, and planning board,
Oh, yeah, this is when we start getting.
yeah.
We can meet at my house.
No, we can't. But thank you for the
Maybe you
offer,
can.
that's very sweet.
Maybe we can.
Not a formal committee,
We'll
Miss
tell her later.
Christine.
I got a full bar and camera. We'll be fine.
Oh gosh, that could be bad.
No, whatever
All
day,
right, so-
whatever day you wanna move
So-
to, I can, I'll be
Are you saying, so if we do the 24th, it has to be an hour?
So on the 24th, we
You
have a
only
meeting that starts at 5:30, so you could do before 5:30, or you could do at 7 o'clock for this room, or you could do before 7 o'clock up in the Novak.
I'm gonna do 7 o'clock on the 24th. I know that's a little bit, I know it counter affects what I was trying to say earlier, but I think this is a really important meeting that might take some time and effort.
Well, if we skip all the other stuff and we just simply focus on all veterans tax credit and solar, we have an hour.
We've gotta get the presentation together for what Jerry, that's gonna be, I think that's gonna take some time.
Why can't we do that in October?
I think
Because it's
that's
gonna
pushing
get-
it out.
when does it have to be?
Well,
when is
no, we've talked about, solar maybe on the 2026 warrant, but we've been, so we have the two things, the old veterans tax credit
Elderly.
to elderly to
No,
recommend, make your recommendation on. And then the question was, anything else, do we do that this year or not? We can take a quick look at the solar, I think, because we're, October's getting a little late since we meet the 3rd.
Right.
I know, and I was just looking at select board meetings, I'm trying to see if we've set our October meetings yet.
I have the 6th and the 20th, that doesn't mean I'm right, because Columbus Day is in November.
Let's take
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think in
I don't-
September is when we need to discuss what we're gonna present and be firm on it, and because then we have to get ready for October. And we may only have a few days before, in October, before the select board meeting.
And we're just getting the information on the solar exemptions for the September meeting.
Right. Oh, I'm not saying we're gonna, and I'm fine with that, but I still think that next meeting is gonna be,
Technical.
to me, that's a very important piece of this, is making sure that we have our presentation ready to go.
Clear explanation of what we need to hear.
Julie, when was the date again? You said we have to have that to the selectmen to get it onto the warrant, for them to discuss it.
by November, by the middle of the end of November, I think would be
Middle
okay. I think it's okay to be, we haven't set our meeting dates in October formally. I think we've kicked around a few dates, but at our September 2nd meeting, I believe the board mentioned that they were going to be setting the dates through the rest of the year. So we'll know that after September 2nd.
Okay, well, here's another question. When would we be presenting to the select board?
So that's unfortunately because the meetings haven't been set for October. Typically, we've already done that, but we haven't done that.
Okay.
So, we're meeting on the 29th, so what is I'm struggling with here is whether or not we would be meeting, I think the 13th is a holiday, no.
Oh, which month are you looking?
Columbus.
Sorry,
no,
it
yeah,
is,
sorry.
April's Day is the 13th.
I believe
Yeah.
so I think we meet.
Yeah, we're gonna meet the 6th and the 20th, I believe.
I thought that, but right, because that puts us in back-to-back meetings, but it just hasn't been confirmed yet, but we'll know after September 6th.
So did I hear you say that we have to present in October in order to make it to the November meeting for the warrant?
No, it's not, no, I think you have October or November, by the
Okay, so
beginning
we
of
have
November,
time.
you have some time.
So why don't we just not worry about our presentation? Why don't we just go through what we're gonna, put, go to the all veterans and then talk about the solar, or about what we're gonna recommend, and then we can focus on a presentation in October.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we look at the draft that you bring in
I'll bring a draft-
September,
I'll
we
bring a
can,
draft next meeting.
yeah,
in
and then
March.
we can look at it quickly and decide what we need to tweak and then round back in October. So the 24th, are we all agreeing that on the 24th at 5:30? Oh, you can't do 5:30, he can only do 6.
I can't do 5:30 because that's when the facilities committee is meeting.
So-
Oh, goodness.
I could do 5:30 once, but not on a regular basis.
Could
She
people
can't do it anyhow.
Well, you could do 7 PM on that night. Can anybody do 7 o'clock?
I don't wanna be here till 8:30. I don't wanna give us the opportunity to go. I think we need to be prepared with our thoughts. And
Or do it another
But
day.
Julie can't do that day then.
you can't do the 24th at 6?
No, she's in
Oh, that's
another
right, it's
meeting.
5:30. Oh, my goodness.
It's that meeting that
I'm
starts
happy
at
to do
5:30.
7. I know that that's a push, but it's a half hour later and I think this is,
Okay. I'll do 7 if everybody else will do 7. Someone's going out of town.
we've only been here an hour and 15 minutes tonight. We got quite a bit accomplished, so. Let's
All
look
right,
at it.
so
So the 24th at 7?
That's what it looks like, yes.
And I thank you guys for accommodating me, because
Who's actually writing up the agenda for our next meeting?
Have you been writing up the
Oh.
agenda?
yes.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because of the vote taken on the all veterans tax credit. We're not reconsidering. That's how you do after you make a vote in a meeting. So we could have reconsidered it at the last meeting when we made the vote. So what we need on the agenda is that we are going to
Action to
an action
consider rescinding.
to consider rescinding the vote of whatever date that was on the topic of all veterans credits. We have to rescind the vote because it's in the record now that this is how we voted.
Okay.
And we didn't do it that same night. So we have to use the word rescind instead of reconsider.
Okay.
And we have to post
So
it.
once the meeting is adjourned, it's
Right.
an action that can't be reconsidered.
No, it
That's
can't
not
be.
rescinded.
It has to be a new agenda item.
It has to be an agenda item because the public needs to know that we are going to be talking about it again and perhaps taking another vote.
So on the agenda, how am I gonna write this? To rescind?
Yeah, just
Discussion on action to rescind
Okay,
decision on all veterans tax credit.
all right.
Because I don't think, we're not necessarily going to rescind it, I
I
think, but we're
gotcha.
gonna have a discussion of consideration on that.
yeah, we have to
Okay.
rescind it and then we reconsider.
It'll be a discussion.
Do we? We have to, do we technically, like, if we're just having a discussion on
She
whether
said
or not,
yes!
on whether or not we're,
My
I'm
head's
just
gonna
saying, like,
explode.
I train
No, we
I'm
discussed-
parliamentarian as well, like, that's what I do for a living as well, so I'm
You
like,
can't just keep bringing things up again and again and again.
Right, so we have to discuss whether or not we want to rescind it.
Gotcha. So that it is a discussion, it's not a formal action, because we're
Right.
not just jumping
Well,
into an
there
action
would
to
be two
do it.
things. There would be a motion to rescind, and if that passes, then there would have to be a new motion for whatever action we want to take.
Right, but for the agenda, we need to say
Yeah.
we're going to discuss rescinding
Right.
the vote of July.
Poor Melissa's like, oh gosh.
no, this is great. Like I said, I have so many committees that don't even consider this stuff, so it's lovely.
I know.
But Christina,
Yeah,
you
I would
know,
say lovely.
I
get
listen, a little sugar
Maybe it's
coating's
healthy,
okay.
maybe it's good.
Christina, if you want to write it up and send it to Pam and I, well, don't have
words
Pam
right.
post it. We'll take a look and maybe Julie will.
Pam's good at editing anything I
We'll
send her.
wordsmith it to meet the Robert's rules appropriately for you. How's that?
So, the other,
Just give me a little
Can
time
we
because
all-
I'm wearing about 10 hats at the
and you're
moment.
gonna email the committee the Monday before with the reminder, can we send out the minutes and the agenda with that? Is that okay to do that?
If you guys have everything to me, that it would be
I
lovely.
mean, the Monday before is in that Monday.
That
Monday
20,
of that week.
22nd, you'll
Yeah,
send an
okay.
email to everybody, everybody's still good for 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And then with that, I would think it would make sense to send the agenda.
Well, you have to do that in the packet, though.
Well, it would be there, but it's just nice, it's just so everybody gets it, and like I said, and if there's more minutes, because you've tracked them down, maybe we can add those as well, and everyone will have time to review them, we can just move right through them. So like, when I have my board meeting where I live, I emailed the board and say, read this before tomorrow, because I don't want to read them. I
Yeah,
want
I
to
just-
bring it to a motion.
Yeah, I sent the agenda, and I guess it was like your minutes, they just got posted. It wasn't sent out.
Yeah, but I think
Wasn't much
it's
to
okay
say
for
on
you,
it
it's
anyways.
okay for you to send it to the group, I think, is what I'm saying.
It's okay as long as you're posting it, anyone can see it.
Yeah.
And like the minutes we got the last time, it was sent as, it was posted, the minutes were posted, so we not only got to see it, but anybody else got to see it in the
Right.
packet.
So I think the town posts them, Pam will post them,
And
the
when-
chair sends them out to the group as part of the reminder for the meeting. So they're in both places, so they're in an email to us, and then everybody's like as, right, that's okay, right?
Like, you guys are just so needy. Hold my hand, hold my hand.
Well, I don't want us to miss these minutes.
Remind me, send me an agenda.
Y'all said you didn't get the minutes.
We can, Christine and I can work on making sure you guys get everything you need appropriately. How's that?
At least none of us to say we can't be there because we're on vacation.
You're gonna be too tired to come to the meeting.
I was,
Yeah.
wait a
At
minute,
least I know
what time
myself.
are you getting back? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Like 11 o'clock at night, the night before. With the time change and everything else I got going on.
So
So
can
it's-
I move to adjourn? Are we-
I'd be here,
are we
but I would
done
be-
for
I
you?
vote, yeah, I second that. Adjourn. She moved to adjourn, I'm seconding it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right.
Thank you, guys.
This was at 7:52, just in case.
Oh,
we don't
thank
have
you
anybody
for tuning
taking
in
any
to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.